Hey, how you doing? I was at the store the other day, went to get eggs. They only had the birds that run wild kind, and there was $20 for a dozen. I mean, what am I, a sap? So I haven't had a good breakfast in weeks because apparently everything good for breakfast has eggs in it. But it got me to thinking maybe there is something to all this talk about inflation and CPI. So I wanted to know, what do we have in our contracts about that kind of stuff? Hey, contract MVPs. It's Foster Sayers, General Counsel and Chief Evangelist for Pramada Contract MVP. So, your business leaders, they're like mine, they're probably talking about inflation right now. Here's what you can do to be a contract MVP when the situation of inflation is starting to become a crisis. Here we are in a repository solution from Pramada. And to understand the impacts of inflation, we're going to search in quotes for the term consumer price index. Why? Well, inflation impacts us in commercial agreements in terms of how it is expressed in our price escalations. So we see that when we search our contracts, there are no accounts or key terms, but there are 8 instances where consumer price index appears in our contracts in our database. You can see it appears in the context of a rate adjustment. So consumer price index measures the increase in a set of consumer goods. And that is a way that people understand inflation. And so if your business is concerned about inflation, you can run this report on consumer price index to understand where it's going to impact you from either your ability to increase prices on your customers or for your vendors to raise prices on you. Now, in this report, we can see that it discusses there being a fixed percentage or consumer price index, whichever is lowest, whichever is higher. More analysis needs to be done. In the legal department, we're busy, so we will deliver these insights, but we'll empower the business to do the analysis. So I'm going to do that by coming up here to the right-hand corner, clicking the spreadsheet icon to export search results. And within seconds, I've created a spreadsheet that I can then deliver to my friends in finance, who I assure you are big fans of spreadsheets, and they can then operationalize their analysis and understand how the consumer price index is a factor in our commercial terms. The snippet of the text is actually exported so they can do this analysis without entering the repository. However, they wanted to get to the contract, they can do that in just a click from the spreadsheet. Additionally, they can get to the digitized key term view of that contract, where they can quickly see other information about the agreement that's been digitized, such as, say, payment terms. So that's how you can be a contract MVP if your business leaders are also talking about inflation and wanting to understand how consumer price index is a concern in your commercial contracts.